With all the construction taking place in Charlotte and neighboring counties, green space is becoming a rare commodity as our population grows. Last year, more than 250,000 people visited the Anne Springs Close Greenway in Fort Mill, South Carolina. As Carolina Impact's Jason Terzis shows us, the Greenway has become a sanctuary in the middle of heavy development.
Horses grazing in a pasture, old log cabins, little streams flowing along. It might feel like you're in the Old South, way out in the country, or took a step back in time. But the reality, you're just a few minutes from the hustle and bustle of the Queen City.
We're hooked. We're hooked. It's a great place.
The Anne Springs Close Greenway, just 18 miles from uptown Charlotte, 5 miles to Pineville, 3 to downtown Fort Mill.
It's just a real comfort.
When most people in Charlotte think Greenway, they likely think of an asphalt path for walking, jogging, and biking. But this Greenway is much more than that.
Even just here in the Fort Mill community, but South Charlotte, they haven't really heard of us, or if they've heard of the Greenway, they do. They think of those urban greenways. And we really are more of a true nature preserve with a lot of history, a lot of activities going on out here, and just a lot to see and explore.
With 2,100 acres, the Anne Springs Close Greenway is more than 2.5 times the size of New York's Central Park. It has lakes, forests, and pastures that include 40 miles of trails for hiking, biking, and horseback riding. There's also fishing, kayaking, mountain biking, and camping.
I like to mountain bike. That's my primary thing.
One of the must-dos is walking across the swinging wooden bridge. Careful now.
The most popular activity out here is probably dog walking. There are so many people who just every single day, this is their backyard.
Got the rolling hills, so you get lots of exercise. And it's a good place for a dog to be a dog.
Rob Pritchard lives in Marvin. He came with a friend for the first time in January. Loved it so much, he became a member.
The wife and I walk it at least 6 days a week. And we walk about a 4-mile loop around the lake. I like it in that the people here are very friendly.
The Greenway currently has 17,000 members. Mina McLean works as the Greenway's community events coordinator. She's been coming to the Greenway for about as long as she can remember.
I grew up sort of out on these trails hiking and riding horses. I attended summer camps, and I learned how to ride at the horse barn, learned how to swim at the recreation complex pool, took tap and jazz dancing at the complex. So really grew up out here.
Mina even celebrated her big day on the grounds.
I did. I had my wedding reception here on the property at the field trial barn, which is a little bit more rustic than the dairy barn, but it was beautiful.
The history of this land goes back centuries. It's named in honor of Anne Springs Close.
One of my great-great-great-grandfathers leased the land from the Indians. They didn't sell it. They leased it to the first settlers, and then later they got title to it. But it's been in my family for many generations.
For decades, the land provided recreation for thousands of employees at textile mills in York, Chester, and Lancaster counties. But as the mills shut down, the land was opened up to everyone. And with Charlotte growing at a rapid pace, Anne Springs Close wanted to provide a buffer to Fort Mill.
I guess what really scared me was Pineville just got swallowed up. The Pineville I knew as a little girl, which was a mill town, was swallowed up and it disappeared, and I didn't want to see that happen to Fort Mill.
The catch? Getting all 8 of her children to agree to donate the land.
Anyone could veto, so it took all 8 of them to agree, which they did. And I'm very proud of them for having done that.
Anne jokes that it's the only time all 8 of her kids have actually agreed on anything. And so, after several years of planning, setbacks, and construction, the Anne Springs Close Greenway officially opened in 1995.
I remember being there that first day for the dedication and a tree being planted, and our family were charter members. Became members at that point and have been ever since.
The land is listed under a conservation easement, which means no development can ever take place.
We've done everything we possibly can to be sure that no way in the future can it be developed, that it will always be a greenway.
At 91, Anne Springs Close still lives on the property and still walks the trails.
His car's over here. Oh, right here? Yeah.
The Greenway recently launched a campaign to raise $211,000 annually to pay for maintenance. As a not-for-profit entity, the Greenway receives no tax dollars to build, maintain, or operate. It's funded by memberships, program fees, and donations. As part of its campaign, the Greenway launched April is Love the Greenway Month. complete with a series of events culminating in the annual Earth Day celebration coming up on April 22nd. The free event will include music, guided tours, horseback rides, trail rides, and other activities.
We'll have food trucks, we'll have all kinds of activities, hands-on, environmental activities for kids and families, lots of guided hikes that day.
Earth Day is our special event, and Earth Day is sort of our gift to the public, so it's always, I insist that it always stay a free event.
With its trails, lakes, and natural beauty, the Anne Springs Close Greenway might just make you forget that Charlotte is right up the street. And that's exactly its purpose. For Carolina Impact, I'm Jason Turgis reporting.